Hey, what's up, everyone? Sean here with Blue Ridge. Hope everyone's doing okay. It's kind of crazy. It's very, very ethereal. I don't know. Man, it's bright in the background. Um, doing this in the comfort of the good old kitchen. Um, so I wanted to take some time update you guys on the crazy circulating coin market. BU rolls specifically have been just roller coastering their way through the summer. We've seen a pretty dramatic price shift, especially on 2024 Denver Jefferson nickel rolls. Of course, the topic of conversation last year with its ridiculously low mintage, just kind of coming out of left field, um, overthrowing the 2009 Philadelphia Jefferson nickel rolls by a few million pieces. So the 2024 Ds ended up coming out like gangbusters. They were selling for between $200 and $250 for a long while. As expected, I kind of knew that this was gonna happen and come up. Prices have plummeted. They, are they heading straight to zero? And for what reason? And are they something that you should invest in? Okay. The answers will surprise you. And we're going to use another previous coin to help support why this might be an open door for some sort of investment. We'll talk about that here momentarily. We're in August, so we are 2/3 of the way through the year. We have this last third of the year. The holiday season generally is a rather busy time of the year. There's also coin shows and things going on all the way up till December. Yeah, it's still going to be a very fluid, very busy season in all regards, and that's even on eBay, on whatnot. There's going to be a lot of holiday promotional stuff happening, and then of course, hot off the heat, kind of like knocking on the doorstep of the semi-quincentennial year. That in itself has a lot of excitement with it. It might be an event that we only see once in our lifetime. Some of us, fortunately, to see it twice in our lifetime. If you guys been through the 1976 bicentennial event, and you're going to be still around for 2026, then that's quite special in its own way. So let's go ahead and kind of update you guys on 2025 numbers. Okay, and this is all sourced from the U.S. Mint through their reporting. So these are all through July 31st, and Lincoln cents. No real surprise here. We're seeing a pretty tremendous drop off here. 600 and a half million seems like a lot, but I'll show you the numbers from last year on Lincoln cents, and then that might actually kind of change your mind as to what we're seeing here. Cumulative total altogether, 1.3 billion. Okay, Jefferson nickels. Okay, very nice numbers here. 233 on the Denver, 266 million on the Philly. Altogether, just a shade under 500 million. Roosevelt dimes, we're not seeing anything weird there either. For a coin that's really not used as much in daily, commerce, these numbers are quite normal. Quarter program. We're kind of in a transitional year right now because we are in the last year of the American Women Quarter Series, and boy, did this series fizzle out as quickly as a day-old Dr. Pepper. I'm telling you, man, this series right here, people were very receptive to it. Sales were robust on all of the secondary market stuff on the U.S. Mint. And as of right now, the program is pretty much dead on arrival. Except for the folks that are collecting into the series, then it's okay. But for each release, and there's 4 or 5 of them every year for the last 4 years, the numbers have been dwindling as far as like circulating numbers. The Denvers, they've only managed to produce 338 million, and I think we have one more or two more quarter releases for this year. I think it's one more, but the average numbers has been just over 100 million for each of the designs for 2025. So definitely on the low side here. I think everybody's gearing up for next year as they're redesigning nearly the whole entire denominational suite of coinage. Kennedys, Native Americans, of course, those were they're just made to be sold on the mint for the most part. Yeah, keep an eye out on these numbers here: 644 million, 655. We're going to take a look at 2024, and first line there are the Lincoln cents, 3.2 billion. I do not believe they're making any sense right now. They usually halt production during the summer, and they really don't consider making any more until the end of the year. While the 2025 numbers are quite a bit lower than what we saw last year, they're not exactly a key date. There's still a high enough number that'll help support some circulating. Even I'm finding 2025 coins in my area. I'm in Northern California. And I'm going to say that they're not particularly rare. But you're going to notice here at some point in this video, 2025 cent rolls are actually doing really well. A lot better than I would anticipate for it being, we're eight and a half months into the year, and those things are still selling very well. Of course, here's your Jefferson nickel number there. That is the new modern key at 32.8 million. Modern being that anything after the year 1990, because there are a few coins I believe that are a lot less than that. The 1950D, of course, is one of them. 39D, just your run-of-the-mill key dates for the series. So 32.8 million. Modern key beating out the 2009 Philly, which produced right around 38 million, I believe. So it's like 5-6 million more than the Denver 24s. So with that being said, you would figure that these would have enough secondary market support that prices would stay relatively high for these coins. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. Because again, I want to remind everyone, right at the turn of the year, beginning of this year, these things were selling for in excess of $200. Okay, and then we've seen prices kind of relapse a little bit into like the 180 range, 175, and it got down to 160. So here is kind of like at a glance currently within the last 90 days of what has been sold. So the first two right here are a couple of lots. Here's a lot of 10 OBW rolls. This was July 13th. Ended up selling for $2,500. So that's $250 per roll. That seems pretty high on that one. This one right here, 20 OBW rolls for $2,400 is, how much is that? That's $100 a roll, somewhere around there. Just over $100 a roll. So June 25th, obviously from the same seller. I don't quite understand the rationale of the pricing here, because if they're selling 10 OBW rolls for Denver's for nearly as much as 20 rolls, I don't see where the pricing is there. So is this pricing legitimate to what we're currently seeing in the market? Probably not. Considering that there's one bid apiece, this person has a feedback score of 95%, which is okay, but it's not good. It's not great, especially for someone with 301 feedback. Usually, you want to see like 98, 99% and higher there. Here's a trio of rolls of Denver's. Okay, best offer accepted, probably about 110 a roll right there. Here is one roll that sold for $295 by Quality Trading LLC. That was back in July 9. Here is a another roll here that sold for 225. That was July 3rd. July 8th, 199. July 8th, 199, and that's for one roll there. Here is like hand assembled rolls here, 4 rolls for $200, so that's $50 per roll. What you haven't really seen yet, up until we get to this next one, are listings in the month of August. Here's our first one here, after just looking at like 15 listings or so. This is a lot of 87 brilliant 2+ rolls. 2024D Jefferson Nichols pulled from rolls for $164.95. Understand that hand assembled rolls, like if you were finding these out of rolls, you're doing roll hunting and there's like mixed dates, but you're also, there's also 2024Ds in there. People will have have this idea that if they hand assemble a roll, it'll sell for just as much, if not the same as what a just sealed bank wrapped roll would go for, and that's simply not the case. People want the sealed bank wrapped rolls for their sealed equity. So, there's some kind of like oddball lots here. A lot of 100 billion, brilliant 2.5 rolls, 158.95. Here's a lot of 3, August 14th. Okay, so lot of 3 for $152.50. See the average price there, $50.75, 78, 79 cents, somewhere around there. Yeah, that's kind of like the first chip to fall on these right now. $50 per roll for 2024Ds. Here's another one right here. It's a loose open roll, $148. That was back in July 10th. Here, August 8th, a lot of 40, $150. Buy it now. That's a sealed back roll right there. Here's another one, July 8th, 140. And just go on down the line. Here's a couple for May, 135, 135. So the prices were obviously dipping. I think everything has to do with supply. The big difference between 2024s and 2009 is really simple. In 2009, we were in the middle of a recession, which kind of had this domino effect on everything. The price of food, the price of gas, the mortgage crisis, things like that. Obviously, there was less of a need for physical coin at that time. And, a lot of people weren't thinking about how low mintage the 2009 coins were until it was too late. So a lot of them went through the circulating process before they kind of became figured out as to being like a rarity because of mintage. And it wasn't until the end of the year and into 2010 where people began to see the potential in those. And those things I remember spiking up to $400 or $500 a roll in 2009. And it was very clear on eBay that was kind of the trend at that time. But like the 2024s, those 2009s had dipped all the way down to about $75 a roll as recently as 2 years ago. And we even saw some last year where the prices under $100 were still around. But as you can see, prices just continue to slip and slide here. All right. And this is kind of like a glance of what like the most expensive rolls have sold for. But if we look at ended recently here, so here's a roll right here for $80. So we're at under $100 here on that one. We're going to skip through all the single coins. Here's another full BU roll, $85. It's 2025D. That one sold for $25. So, and they put in like the 2000. There's no comparison. The mintage of the 2024 Denvers compared to the 25s is like you got to split it in ninths, and that's how That's how much more they made this year. Um, Here's another one here. Best offer accepted. Here's one that was bid up for $61. So yeah, these things have tumbled quite a bit. As of right now, the prices. There's our three roll lot there. Just 59, 76. The OBWs, of course, performing just a little bit better. Here's one here for $56, 75. Yeah, I mean, as of right now, gone are the days of $100 plus rolls. Okay, which used to be kind of like the easiest freaking money grab. If you guys were lucky enough to find boxes of these at the bank, and you took advantage of the prices as they were 6 months to a year ago, congratulations. That is huge. Now, obviously, the prices are still okay. They're not $150 to $200 like we're used to seeing, but I'm not gonna throw these back when I know I could sell them for 50 to $75 a roll. I'm just not. It just makes more sense to still take advantage of the arbitrage on these while you can. 2009. There are too many BU rolls out there, admittedly. Here's a couple of them right here. These things are coming back up. All right. They've come down. They're coming back up. There's less of these out there. 2009P. That's the second lowest mintage of the last 30 years. $145 by it now. Here's another one here for $149.95. And these are BU rolls, by the way. People are actually doing hand-assembled rolls of coins they're finding in circulation, and selling them for right around 25 to $30 a roll. There's still like $1 per coin on average for the circulated ones. Here's a nice BU roll here for $60, but that's a Denver. They made more Denvers than they did Philadelphia's. So the Denver rolls obviously are going to command a much lesser amount of money, as they made well in excess of 40 million of these, back in 2009. Again, the P Mint is the big dog out of them all. Let's see if we can find one more. Here's two rolls, Philadelphia and Denver, but they're not specified as being BU. There's another bank wrapped uncirculated roll of Denver's for 42. Okay, there you go, $100, somewhere around there for a P Mint. So the P Mint's starting to get a little bit more love, as kind of like the adjustment here. And if it's true that the Lincoln Cent is gonna wind down production next year, and this is kind of like I'm theorizing that they are intentionally curbing the production of 2025 Lincoln Cents. So because as you guys know, they put in their last order with their third-party vendor for those zinc planchets, that they're going to save a good fair amount of that for next year's production, because they want to be able to celebrate with us the 250th anniversary. So that's why I'm thinking that the production will kind of be right where it's at for the year. I'm sure they'll make more 2025 Lincoln Cent rolls, but it's not going to be nearly as much. All right. Graded wise, okay, this is also another telltale sign and kind of a little bit of a thing here to indicate why rolls have been dropping. Okay, people are grading these 2024 rolls. Full step coins, pop. Top pop is mid-state 68 with 5 of them realized in 67, 94, 1 in 67 plus. 24D, which is the low mintage year, 19 of them in mid-state 67. When we go to 2009, on the previous page, okay, kind of a different story here. Again, this is help supporting kind of like late to the party realization here that these things are vastly, vastly scarce. 2009 full steps. The highest grade is mid-state 67, pop 1. Do you freaking believe that? Same with 2009D full steppers in 1 and 67. I can only imagine how much those coins are worth. Probably $4,000 to $5,000 a piece for the singular loan examples of that. And I'm just, it's not that I'm surprised at all, but these numbers suggest that again, a lot more of these circulated to the point where they're not worth grading. Okay, because a lot of them will come back in 64, 65, and then that's the end of the story. In order to discover mid-state 66 and higher, yeah, I mean, you really have to go into a BU roll, and I'm going to assume that the quality was not very good in 2009. All right, so even if you did have an original bank wrap roll, you're just simply not going to see great premium quality coins coming out of there. And then finally, Lincoln Cents, 2025 Lincoln Cents are rolling right now. 2025D is a little bit lesser mintage than the Phillies. $9.51 here, and of course $5.25 in shipping. And I believe that's ground advantage. It's kind of like first class. So considering that's for one roll with face value of 50 cents, 6 bids, you're still going to profit $8 per roll. These seem to be really good money. And if you have the patience to sell these as rolls, that's where you're going to make the most amount of money. But it's going to take longer, only because if you have to put up 50 rolls in an auction or a buy it now situation where it's you buy as many as you want. You can buy 1 roll, 10 rolls, or whatever the case may be. That'll take a lot longer, But yeah, I mean, we're seeing some pretty healthy values here. It seems to me that the Denvers are selling for a little bit better, or maybe it's the Philadelphias. This is a full bank box here, $25 face value for $165. So pretty easy money right there. There's another one there for $149. Again, if you have the patience to do single roll auctions, that might be the ticket there. But as of right now, we're seeing very, very consistent prices on 2025. So, is this something that is sustainable? Probably not. I think once we get into 2026, people are going to forget about these. Prices are going to drop, and then they'll pick up more steam after next year, provided that, the Fed Reserve and the Mint decide to completely cut off production of Lincoln Cents. Then that's going to have a serious domino effect across all dates of rolls and boxes. So, yeah, quite interesting kind of direction we're seeing here. Again, prices are really, really good right now. Very robust. A lot more than I thought it would be for this time of year. There's a 2025D box for $225. That's crazy. Yeah. The sealed boxes, by the way, command a premium. If you have to open a box, there's a pretty big discount there. I wasn't sure if you guys knew that, but yeah, that's something to be aware of. If you have these NF String and Son boxes with the little holes cut out on there, you can actually see the dates of them. Keep them sealed because you're going to get much more money for them, anywhere from 20 to 30% more compared to an open box sale. So that is going to do it for this one. Again, still worthy to look for out there. You should do it now before the holidays hit, because people are going to be ordering more coin for their businesses and merchants and things, and a lot of these will end up getting circulated, and more rolls are going to get cracked, and there's going to be less sealed inventory available through the banking system. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this one, ladies and gents. Keep on collecting, keep on hunting. Enjoy this hobby. My name's Sean with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video if you enjoy today's content. I shall see you guys later, and have a good day. Have a great weekend.